Hello, hello. This is our live stream. We do those weekly. I think we will be missing next week because it's a Thanksgiving week, so we want everyone to have a great time with their families. But other than that, we go live every week over on at Twitter. Now Instagram is having trouble, but Twitter, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We do all of those, so please follow us, everyone, not to miss any. It's like 30 minutes of catching up on everything that's going on in search, AI, content marketing, link building, digital marketing industries. So those are very, very, very packed full with a lot of trends, news, everything that's going on, because it is changing really fast, and we want to keep an eye on everything that's going on and report on those changes for you to save time and not to have to read about those yourself. While we are still waiting for more people to join us, and I see that people are gathering together, please let us know which social media network you're watching us from, so that, hi Todd, so that we could know which of those are the most engaging. Would love your feedback and comments. For some reason, and it's not the first time that I'm seeing this, we don't get comments from X, Twitter, in our StreamYard. So I go to Twitter and answer them afterwards, after this live stream. So please keep them coming. I will still talk to you back once we're done here. On Twitter or any other social media network. And I keep saying Twitter. I guess that's for a while now. No one is used to calling it X. So a quick introduction to what we're going to talk about, and we have a few news a few trends and new things that has been happening in AI search. We haven't been talking about that for a while, not because we haven't been watching. I've been reading news, and I've been trying to figure out if it's time to report on those, but I wanted a few of those to accumulate, to save you time and talk about all of that, because it's the same trend. The good news is it's still the same trend that every player in AI search is following. So it's good news. I guess they're all going in the same direction. So it's still fun to watch how it develops. But a quick introduction. What is AI search? And it's not just me asking that question. There is no clear definition of AI search as of today. People search AI platforms or Google or now Bing, and instead of seeing 10 blue links, which they haven't been seeing for a while anyways, they see the summary of search results with some AI snippets, not search snippets as we knew them as organic search snippets, but summary answers of those pages right in search results. There are two unfortunate trends that are happening here. Is, first of all, something we've been really worried about for a while now. In many cases, though, AI summaries are so good, people do not want to click any further, and they just close search results. And a quick thing that people forget here about that is it's not bad news just for us publishers. It's bad news for Google too, because the whole advertising model of Google search relies on clicks. So when people don't click, it's not just bad news for us, it's bad news for Google as well. And we are still waiting to figure out how it's going to solve that problem to make more money. So that's one big trend that's happening. We are losing traffic because people, especially those people who just needed quick answers, quick understanding of a concept, they just watch those search results and leave. This is first bad news for the industry. The second bad news is that it's very hard to measure and track at this point for many reasons. First of all, Google doesn't give us any information about AI overviews within its search console, and there are no plans of doing that according to Google. So I hope they will change their minds. And secondly, with ChatGPT or similar platforms, they are all dynamic. people get different answers, different people, depending on where they search from, depending on their history, depending on their location, depending on which model of AI platform they are using, they get different answers. So what exactly they are seeing, we marketers do not know, and we cannot report to our clients, hey, this is what ChatGPT answered when they asked about you or about similar problem or something like that. So there are two problems that we're going to be solving going forward, and I'm sure that we will at some point have answers. It's just too early at this point. So what happened in the AI search industry within a few weeks from here? First of all, ChatGPT has launched its own search engine. I think it's still a waiting list, or maybe it's public just for pro users. I lost track. I do have a pro account, so I can access it. It works just like Google's AI overviews. It shows you answers with references to where they took those answers from. AI and those answers are generated by AI, so they are not exactly what they see on the site, but that's a summary of a lot of pages that they track. ChatGPT does use being indexed, so being indexed by Google is even more important at this point. So this is first news. Next, AI overviews, and this is the older news, but I did want to mention that they are available now to everyone inside and outside the United States, and you don't have to be logged into Google anymore to access those answers. So they are very widespread at this point. Next, Bing has also launched its version of AI overviews. I forgot what they call them, but for consistency, we'll be calling both of those features for both of those search engines AI overviews for a better alternative at this point. So let's all agree they are all AI overviews. Bing's AI overviews look a little bit different than Google's, but they work the same way. They show up on top of the organic search results, and they summarize the answers they can find in their own index. I think they look much more clickable than Google's AI overviews, but we don't have any data for that, and I'm sure Google will be changing those as well. Again, it's also Google's problem that people click less, so they will be making AI overviews more clickable. Both for Google and for Bing, the fundamental part about being in the AI, being featured in AI reviews, is being indexed by both of those search engines. So it's part of the fundamental step in SEO. Nothing is changing. We want our clients to be indexed to show up in AI overviews. Now, there are two more very important use that are not about organic search results, but they're important for the development of AI search, is the monetization of those. First of all, Perplexity has introduced its own PPC ads. I'm not sure yet. I didn't see them. It's a limited trial, so it's a limited test, so I guess I wasn't part of that test, so I couldn't replicate that. But from the screenshot, that the monetization is that when someone is searching for a particular prompting with a particular keyword, it looks like there will, if a brand is sponsoring that keyword, paying for that keyword, it will be featured in the follow-up questions. As you know, Perplexity shows follow-up questions for any prompt, depending on what you search. So for example, if you search for something like best laptop in 2024, the follow-up question will be something like, why Macs are the best laptops out there, provided Apple pays for that question to show up. It's interesting model. I don't think they will make much money out of it because it looks like it's not just about clicks, it's also about brand awareness. And we all know how businesses are really not willing to pay just for brand awareness because it's so incredibly difficult to measure and understand the direct impact. This is how much I invested and this is what I got. So PPC looks like a more clear and transparent model at this point. And that's what the Google is also doing. They are now monetizing their AI overviews with those PPC ads that look very similar to regular PPC ads that you see in search results right now. But it's also interesting to us that and it's a trend. We've been talking for a while now that ChatGPT model or Perplexity's model that is based on premium members of people paying for those packages is not sustainable because the competition is so huge and people will not pay for all those Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claudia. There are too many options, and I just listed 4 of them. There are dozens of AI platforms at this point. So people will not pay for all of them. They would not even pay for like both Hulu or Netflix, and not even like, can you imagine a persona that would need so many AI platforms at a time that they will be willing to pay for all of them? So that income is doomed. Those platforms that have millions of investments at this point will be forced to monetize in different ways. And from what we're seeing right now, there is no better yet way to monetize those just apart from clicks. And this is good news for us because if those platforms will be monetized by clicks, they will have to find that balance, symbiosis, what's the pronunciation of that word? I don't know, between quality results, organic quality results, publishers, and their ads. Because no one will search ChatGPT or Google just because there are ads there. They will need quality results. And if they are trained not to click, they will not also click on those ads. So that tiny balance that is now being ruined, and that is why ChatGPT is being blocked by so many publishers, is that ChatGPT at this point, it's not in their interest that people click. Unlike Google, Google is interested in your clicks. ChatGPT is not, and that's where that balance is ruined. And when they are forced to monetize their answers with clicks, then that balance will be back and they will be interested in their users on clicking those organic clicks links as well, not just the ads. So they will want people to click. So when people are saying that web traffic is going down and we will lose it at some point, maybe, maybe not. What's happening right now shows us that it's not happening at this point, and that is good news for organic publishers as well. And we will be watching that further. A quick update, which I forgot to say, the introductions. I was so excited to not to forget any single update that I forgot to tell you that I'm Anna Smarty. I'm the co-founder of Smarty Marketing. I have been in the industry for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of things happening and changing, and I'm excited to watch what's going on right now. With me today and always is April, our director of social media. Thank you so much, April. I know there will be a lot of questions coming from you. Before I forget, and one good news which is developing in front of our eyes is that people are not only using Google at this point to discover brands, to research products, to research brands, to find answers. They are also using other platforms. And I just found out, April, could you please pull that screenshot? Rand Fishkin did a quick study on the market share of search as of October 2024. There are a few things here to note. First of all, it only using web data, so it doesn't include apps like Google Map app, ChatGPT app, so just web data. And ChatGPT is not exactly just a search engine, and this is people using it overall for any prompt, for any task. So it's not just search, it's not just finding answers to questions. But you can see that Bing is still at about 2% of market share. At ChatGPT is within a year, is it a year, right? At 4.33%. So Google people are using ChatGPT more and more, and this is good news for us because we do need competitors for Google. Google cannot remain the only monopoly of search because at this point they are doing whatever they want. And interesting also here that people do search Pinterest, which is interesting to me because I do remember when Pinterest showed up, it was interesting to see how they're going to monetize. So we go back to that monetization question that every other platform is facing right now. So Pinterest tried to monetize, to find a different monetization solution. So what they did, they inserted affiliate links whenever there is a pin, an image that talks about any product or brand, and they were widely criticized for that, and they had to go with sponsored pins just like any other social media network. So it's not the first time in our history of digital marketing, digital visibility, online visibility, that brands are struggling to come up with an alternative monetization solution that is not relying just on clicks, and it's not just sponsored or PPC content. It's not the first time Pinterest failed at some point. It looks like Google is still monetizing their AI overviews with regular PPC ads where they rely on clicks. And I'm sure that at some point, ChatGPT will have to do something similar. And we are watching and seeing, because how they monetize their platforms is crucial for us, organic visibility experts, to understand where is that balance between quality of organic search results and quality of PPC ads. Because if there is no balance, that platform will fail, and it will be our task to watch and see what they're doing to figure out how to actually go about building organic visibility based on how those platforms are making money. I hope that was a good overview of what's been going on in AI search. Of course, there are many more updates, but I think those 4, 5, however I mentioned, were important to see that trend that many people are missing. They are all talking about ChatGPT not being interested in publishers because they already have all the index, they have all the answers. And that's why many publishers are blocking ChatGPT, because it's not interested in people clicking anything. So far, it looks like they're still going into the web traffic generation, organic and paid visibility for brands and publishers. So there is still hope that ChatGPT at some point will follow that route as well, and we will know how to better position our clients for clicks, not just brand visibility. And with that, I was talking for a while. I'm ready for questions. I know April have a few, and before I forget, please do subscribe to my newsletter, nsmarty.com, where I publish every week these updates talking about these topics that we then discuss over at our live streams. And there will be more screenshots, links, and better context for you to quickly skim through and understand what is going on and how to go about that.
I just want to bring up a question that Todd asked earlier. Anyone else find themselves going to an AI tool for your searches now? And we had like a little discussion in the comments about this.
I really do not.
Yeah.
I still use organic search much more than anything else. I'm guilty of reading a featured snippet and closing search results. But that has been going on for about 10 or more years now. So it's the trend that we've been facing for a while now. But I do like more in-depth answers. And I had a webinar 2 weeks ago discussing the loss of organic search traffic that many publishers, big and big brands, small publishers, everyone is facing right now. One single problem: organic traffic is going down. Rand Fishkin has been talking about that for about 10 years now as well, so it's not new. But it's something we've been facing more and more because of those old features that Google is adding on top of organic search results. And one good takeaway from that discussion was, if someone is searching for a quick answer and that's all they need, maybe you don't need that click, especially if you are an e-commerce brand or someone like you want to do something on your site. If that person is not interested in products, they're not at that point yet. All they need as the quick answer, that's why they click off the search results tab. Maybe it's not someone you should be really worried about. You need someone in the middle of the funnel, in the end of the funnel, and catch them somewhere where they have already had multiple touch points. They've seen your brands, they saw your answer, yes, they saw your social media ad, they saw you on some review sites, they saw you multiple times. And when they are ready, at that point, they will buy stuff. But if they just need a quick factual answer, and that's something, then they're not interested in going forward with that journey, maybe that's not a huge loss.
I was also going to bring up Craig's comment. I feel like that's usually what I use AI for too. Not very often, but like it's a good thing. It's a good like tool to have like a conversation with when you need to like really explain what you're looking for, and you can't really do that so well with Google because it's more of a direct kind of search. So
Personally, I use ChatGPT more for tasks, or Gemini for
mhm.
tasks, analysis, information extraction, something like that. Maybe like summarizing huge documents that I'm too lazy to read. But for searching and researching, usually use Google. But again, I'm sure it's different for different generations. We are trained to use Google. In most cases, that's why we turn to it. It will be changing with every generation, especially if those platforms that we have so huge hopes for will survive and will find the ways to make money, because it's been a year. I'm sure they are forced at this point to come up with something that will make money for their investors. And that's something they will be frantically doing at this point. And that's good news, because we will be able to see what they're doing, how we fit in with our organic visibility within those platforms.
Even if I like have a conversation with AI and they like, give me like results, I'll still end up googling whatever they tell me anyway. So it still ends up being like a Google search, just a little
Yep.
prepping beforehand.
I know.
So
That's something. There was another piece of statistics last week, I guess, when we were talking about SEO fundamentals, and not really being different from what it's. And I forgot to mention that Bing also introduced their own keyword research and optimization guidelines, talking to us, teaching us how to optimize for those Bing's AI overviews, and there is nothing new there. That's keyword optimization we've been doing for ages. That includes conversational keywords, question keywords, long tail keywords, semantic keywords that end up in the same context as your main keyword. So it's something we've been doing for, I don't know, even for a decade at least, ever since Hummingbird, that happened 12 years ago. So far, every piece of information that comes out from those search engines and AI platforms that are trying to innovate and find their spot in the world, it's still the same old advice that we've been following for a while.
that actually leads into one of my questions. So you mentioned in the newsletter, like having like conversational keywords and asking questions in your content is a good way to like tap into those questions that people are asking to search. So like, what are some ways of finding out the questions people are asking to use to optimize your content?
There are multiple tools that can help you, and I would suggest starting there for sure. Going to tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs, they do have keyword filter that shows you only questions based on that keyword. BuzzSumo is a great tool because it pulls questions from Reddit and Quora, so it's like actual conversation happening around your keyword, and they are not just doing it for your core term, but they will also use semantically relevant keywords and will pull questions based on that. People also ask, all of those great sources. It's just when you write an article on focusing on some important keyword that you think will bring some qualified leads or buyers to your site, make sure you don't have to answer all those questions you can find. You need to think about that user journey, user understanding of the concept, what they really need to know based on that core keyword, and not just answer everything and anything you could find. Also, talk to your clients, be part of the conversation all the time. um, Social media listening is a great tool to understand your target audience much better. If you follow your brand name, your competitor's brand name, their product names, you will get daily emails with that context, where those brand names and product names are being used in. You will see more and more questions that people are asking and how they're doing. That's the conversation search out there. So it's there is no easy way to do that. That's a huge research. That's something we are helping clients to do as well. But it's the combination of SEO data that is available, not limited to that data, because everyone can use tools and your content needs to stand out. So being part of the conversation, talking to your clients on a daily basis, talking to your customer support team and asking them what people are asking via emails or phone. All of that, the combination of all of that, and also on top of everything, thinking about the journey, the buying journey that is happening when you look at that keyword.
All right, here's a question from Adam.
Do you have any tips for tracking AI rankings? I use SEMrush for Google AI, but no way for ChatGPT or others yet. No, ChatGPT, and I talked to a great developer that is developing a tool like that. What is a zip tie dev? I guess that's the tool I'm talking about. You can try Googling it and see. I talked to the founder of that tool, and they are integrating a lot of platforms into their tool. So it's not just AI overviews, but also Perplexity and whatever they can do. With ChatGPT, the problem is that their API answers, that what they send through API to developers and what people see through the user interface is very different. So yes, we can pull API, we can pull those answers through ChatGPT official API, but it's not exactly representative of what actual people are using when they're using the tool. So there are a few problems there that prevent our developers from creating a tool for ChatGPT rankings and understanding what people are seeing there. So it's still a journey. We are still figuring this out. Again, I think it's zip tie. Yes, ziptie.dev. Yes, thank you, Craig. You can see that in the comments on LinkedIn, and now on the screen. It's a great tool. They are working hard on figuring out things like AI rankings, AI visibility throughout multiple platforms. So keep an eye on them for sure. They're a very talented bunch of people, and we're using them as well as other tools as well. So that is one I can recommend because I know they are always searching for more features and understanding what's going on and how to handle it, how to measure that.
Awesome. I guess I have one.
We have exactly 2 minutes for one more question, I guess, and but keep them coming. We'll answer as many as we can find throughout our social media platforms for sure. Assuming we get to the point where you can track all AI rankings, is there a platform you are most focused on? Google. I'm focused on Google at this point. It's like 80 something % of search market at this point. We will see. I'm hoping my focus will change together with the market. When ChatGPT is large enough to have more, or Bing, together they can be together at this point because ChatGPT is using Bing's index, so it's also something that we need to keep an eye on. But for now, and feel free. There was another, and I started talking about that, and I lost track of my thought. But we did talk about another research last week where people do not only use Google the most, about 85% of the time. But it's also where they switch right after talking to ChatGPT. Just what April said. That's the biggest. So they talk to ChatGPT and they switch right to Google to research every question or every brand further. So Google is still where most of those buying decisions are happening. Whatever we however many hopes we have that it's going to change at some point, it's still there. And so if you have to find one platform to focus on and track and measure, Google is still the one. So we'll see how fast it changes. So far it's not a fast change.
Yeah, all roads lead to Google for now, probably for a long time.
Yes. And it's been like that for a while too. Like brand awareness can happen on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's where people discover brands and learn about brands. But Google is still number one platform where they go to research those brands, buy from them, and understand if they need to trust those brands. So it's still the place for all the buying decisions to happen. Branded search is so important for that exact reason, because people will research you and your competitors after talking to ChatGPT on Google. So keep an eye on your branded search, what people see when they search for your brand name. Thank you so much for joining us today and for allowing us to talk about Bing, keyword research, AI search, and please let me know if I missed any important update today or any great tool. I would love to know your feedback on how our live streams are happening. Please let all those comments coming, and we will see you in 2 weeks right after Thanksgiving with some important update. Google's core update is happening right now. I hope it will be done after Thanksgiving so that we could get together and discuss that as well. It's always an interesting discussion by looking at everything that Google has been doing and has been manually penalizing. There are a few manual penalties that we know of already. So it's both manual and algorithmic update. Hopefully we will discuss it in 2 weeks. Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST. Keep an eye on my newsletter over at nsmarty.com so that you don't miss our discussions at any point. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, have a
And
great
happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye.